I don't know why was VW so shy to just put in a turbo on this car. For this sump right here, you need a 19mm socket. So here we go. Oh shit. There we go. Just to press in so that I can be able to drain this oil. Okay. This is out. Yes. So this takes up 4.6 liters. Hey guys, welcome back to today's video, and today's video we're going to be changing the oil on a VW Jetta 5. So my 2007 VW Jetta 5 has a BVZ engine, so yours may be having a different engine which may be a BLR, BLX, BLY. So you can find this engine on other models on a VW, you can find it on a Golf, on a Touran, on a Passat, as well as the Caddy. After changing the oil, I'm also going to show you how to reset the service now warning light on the dash. So I'm also going to show you how to do it manually and also how to do it using OBD11. So the oil that I'm going to be using on this car is a Shell Helix 10W40. I know some other people prefer a 5W40 or a 5W30, so I don't prefer that one because this car is quite old and the mileage is a little bit high. So I prefer to use the oil with a viscosity of 10W40 because this will give the engine a little bit of protection, because the 5W40 and the 5W30 is a little bit thin and I'd like to have the car protected at all costs. I'm also going to be using a main filter because this is the filters that I prefer on my car. If you can check also on the video that I made here on replacing an air filter, I use the main filter as well. So to check that video, you can see it on the top right hand corner right here. What I'm going to do right now is then going to remove the undercover tray. So to remove the undercover tray, I'm going to be using a T20, which seems to be missing on my toolbox. I believe this is a T20, and I'm also going to use this. I have now put on my safety goggles with my old Shell hat. Don't worry anyway, I do have a new Shell hat because I'm a Shell customer anyway. So I'm going to remove the undercover tray. And also, if you can check right here, it has some clips. So you just need to remove those clips. Just push it up, then pull back. Even on this other side, push it up, then pull back. So after taking it off, just make sure that you inspect it for some oil, because if it has some oil, that means you have an oil leak. So looking at the undercover tray, you can tell that there was a leak here. So this leak was caused by the camshaft position sensor because it was having a loose seal. So I have then taken care of that. So this is just a residue of the oil that was once leaking. But as you can see right now, you can tell that this dust is really old and we have no fresh patches of new oil. So after removing the undercover tray, you're going to expose the oil filter right here. So this is the oil filter, and to remove this oil filter, you need a number 36 socket. But before you can remove the oil filter, you need to undo this cover right here, and then you're going to drain the oil from the oil filter so that when you remove it, not so much oil drips on. This oil filter is the same oil filter that you're going to find on a VW Golf 5 GTI, because these engines are the same. The only difference is that the GTI is a BWA with a turbo and this one does not have a turbo, but the rest is basically the same because this engine also has a timing chain. The GTI also has the timing chain. Before we do this, we're going to go on to the oil sump, remove the oil sump, then we're going to come back onto the oil filter. I don't know why was VW so shy to just put in a turbo on this car, because if you can look at this place right here, you can tell that this place was provided for to make space for an oil return line from the turbo, because as you can see, this is exactly the same fitting which is on the Golf 5 GTI. For this sump right here, you need a 19mm socket. Yeah, this was very tight. There. So here we go. Oh shit. Okay. It went over the place that I expected it to go to, but that's fine. So So this is all the oil that we have left. So what I'm going to do right now is just to clean up all this dripping oil, and then I'm going to put on the drain plug, because this oil is not going to stop dripping, but what I know is that the majority of the oil is now out. So I'm just going to clean this up. So now I'm just going to put on the drain plug. So the drain plug is tightened up to 30 Newton meters. Let me just clean up this surface. Damn, all my years of finding out were not in vain, because if you can see, brake cleaner does the job very well. I'm so impressed. I'm gonna use it to cleanse my sins. So that's 30 Newton meters of torque. Now we're done. That's how clean I got it to be. So going to open this up. I'm going to have to use a plier here because I'm not going to win like this. Okay, I finally got it to be loose a bit. There we go. So right now what I have to do is just to drain the oil inside the oil filter. So I'm going to use this Allen key just to press in so that I can be able to drain this oil. So that's how much oil was in the oil filter. Okay, so now the oil is done draining. So the oil capacity of this fuel filter is 500 milliliters. So the total oil capacity of the car is 4.6 liters. Here we have 500 milliliters, and on the car itself we have 4.1 liters. So that makes a total of 4.6 liters. So when it's done draining, what you can do just to push the valve back onto its position, then the oil stops draining. Clean this up a bit, then put on the 36 millimeter that I told you was going in here. Get your 36 millimeter. I think I'll need to extend it a bit. Okay, now it has been extended, so I think we are good right now. Okay, this is in a little bit tight, so I'm going to use a top wrench just to have some leverage to remove the oil filter. It's loose now. I believe now we can just take it off by hand. Okay. This is out. So what I'm going to do is just to inspect it a little bit and see if we have any metal or anything that's not supposed to be in here. Okay, here's the oil filter. Put it down. Let me just check if there's anything we don't want. There's no metal at all that I can see. There's nothing that I can suspect that it's metal inside here. So the oil filter is good, so that means we are good. Now we can go ahead and replace the oil filter. So on this oil filter, if you can look at it carefully, you can see that there's a seal around this oil filter that you need to remove right here. So the seal itself has a tab which you can just pull out. Here it is. You need to remove this seal. Just pull it out. Pull out this seal. Okay, now it's out. Okay, now we are clean. So what we need to do right now is to put on the new seal. Okay, it seems to be the right one. Just open it up. So I'm going to use hands on this because I don't want to have it contaminated. Here's the new main filter. Looks exactly like the old one. So I'm just going to put it aside a bit. I'm just going to put it on top of that. We're supposed to have a new seal here. Okay, so here's the new seal. So this seal needs to be coated with some bit of oil. Okay, that will be fine. Put this oil around the seal. Just like this. So make sure that the seal is coated with oil all around. So what you need to take note is that this tab right here, if you can see it, needs to be facing upwards. So it needs to go in like this. Can you see the tab facing upwards? Then take the oil filter itself, put the seal right in its groove, right there. Can you see how good. It sits just like that. Then you are done. So what I can do right now is just to re-clean the oil filter, because now I've charged it with the oil that I've just put in here. I guess I can't be more cleaner than this, but it is clean right now. So something to note before you put the oil filter back is that if you can look at it right here, you can see that the oil filter is written 25 plus 5 Nm, which means you need to torque it up to 25 Newton meters and 180 degrees turn. Put back the oil filter, make sure that it sits. Yes, just put on the oil filter housing. Can you hear the 25 Newton meters? And we need to do a 180 degrees turn. Now that's enough. So what we need to do right now is just to put this back on. So you can tighten this up by hand, because this will not leak any oil, as you need to press on the valve to make sure that oil leaks. Just to do some final touches. So what we need to do right now is just to put back the undercover tray. Everything has been tucked up. Now what we need to do is to go upside. The jack broke. So when I was unjacking the car, the jack broke. As you can see right here, it broke. Now this is my second jack, and I'm now over these jacks. I will need to buy a new jack because I cannot drive around without a jack. Be careful when you're using a scissor jack. When I check underneath the car, it broke this plastic piece right here. As you can see, it broke the plastic piece, but nothing underneath, because I jacked the jack using this part right here, which is the strong point of the car, and I'm really disappointed at it, but that's what it is. So you'll need to torque the wheels up to 120 Newton meters. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is just to remove the oil filler cap. Going to remove you and put you on the side. Get your funnel ready. So make sure that whatever you use is very clean, because you don't want any dirt contaminating the oil you just put in. We're just going to fill this up. So on a car, when putting oil, more is not better and less is not always good. So enough is just enough. So you need to make sure that you get the right amount of oil inside the car. So as you can see right now, I've just cleaned up the dipstick. When we pour up the oil, we're gonna check up the dipstick and see how far we are. Just going to put this back in. So this takes up 4.6 liters. Okay, so right now I filled up enough oil. I think I can now go ahead and check the dipstick. So what we need to look at right now is to see how far the level of the oil is. So here's the dipstick right now. If you can see, the dipstick says the oil is right here, right before the X. So I think this is enough. So what we can do right now is just to run up the car. And after running up the car, just make sure that the car is warm. And then after running up the car, check again your oil level and see that if you need to top up or not. What I'm going to do right now is just to reset the service now warning light. So I'm going to run up the car after that. So I'm now inside the car. So what you're going to see when you turn on the car, hood open, because obviously it is open. So after this, you're going to see the service now warning light. Tailgate is open as well, I know. What I'm looking for is the service now warning light. There is the service now warning light. So what you need to do to reset the service now warning light is to press on the 00 mark when the car is off, turn on the key, then after that press on the minute. So what I've done right now is just to improvise and make sure that you can see everything. You can see my finger right here. Hold on to this part, turn on the car, hold on for a few seconds. After holding on for a few seconds, you'll need to let it go, then hold on to this part right here for a few minutes or a few seconds. Then leave it like that, then you're done. So let's just turn off the car and see if it still gives us the service now warning light. Okay, here's the car. Hood open. Tailgate open, because yes, it is open. Now we're looking for the service now warning light. The service now warning light is gone. So that has really worked. So that's how you reset the service now warning light on a VW Jetta 5. So just before you go, here's my first start. So the oil is just getting everywhere, so that's why the engine is very high. So now the idling has now went down, so here's how the engine is running. So we're done with the oil change. If you like this video, please kindly like this video and hit the subscribe button. So until next time, we out.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.